Alright, we're just about done with this project. We're going to wrap it up. Here's a couple of important notes if you're building something similar to mine. Since I'm going to leave this side of the case on, I'm going to shove the wires back behind it. That way everything will just squish on here. But one note is right here. These little pins are what lines up the plastics. So you want to make sure those are clean from any wires or anything else. That way you don't pinch any wires when you push this baby back together. And of course, you also want to make sure your connectors in the back are also have enough room to get by the plastic, so we're not cinching on anything. So get them lined up where you can. And lastly, I think the one thing it's missing right now is this is a little adapter that you can plug in so you can use their connector. Now, there's two ways to look at this. The other end is your standard kind of charge connection. It's XT60. You can just charge with that itself. Basically pop this guy out on a certain side or spot where it makes convenient sense for charging. Or you can put on the adapter with the adapter, and then you have another adapter that's plugged into the charging box. So easier would be just to pop this out the side and you got your easy charging with less connections. Other than that, that's about done. I also have a plate for the front. I'm going to take off the headlight because with this kit you don't have voltages for the headlight anymore. And honestly, that headlight was like a candle up front, so it didn't make much sense. So I'm going to just slap on some classic plastic here with a zip tie, because that's how I roll. And after that, we should be able to button it up and go for a ride. So let's get to it. Alright, I got the connector just popped out right here. That's good enough. I think if I was going to do this on the cheap, I'd just put a little dab of glue on the back side and call it a day. Or I can switch this out later on and put in the proper adapter. Either way, this is where I need it to be to charge it. And that's easy. Easy peasy. This is probably one of the hardest parts, is you're going to be expanding this hole a little bit at a time, basically just trying to get them flush mounted there. You don't want to take off too much. You don't mess up your wires, but you're going to have to make a nice round hole and then a little side hole for the screw. See, there's a little pop-up screw right here that allows the door to hinge the swing, so you're going to need to make some room for that. Hey buddy. So what I'm going to do is, I want the door to swing downward and clear, so I need to make a little notch up in this corner here so all the hardware can fit. So I'm just going to keep whittling away at it till it's done. Here's final fitment. Opens up, shuts. Looks nice and clean-ish. I might even put some glue on there, or put some self-tapping screws in there. Some short boys if I can find them. That way it'll hold it in there but not leave any room, because we don't want pokey bits on the other side. Just enough to make it work. And that looks clean, honestly. There's a little bit of room around it, but it's smashed in there pretty nice, and it doesn't look that noticeable that there's anything in there. Good old sleeper. Again, cable management is key here. You want to make sure your wires aren't close to anywhere that could be sharp, anywhere that could pinch them. You make sure they're shoved away so no one can notice your shame, and make sure they're clear on these pins. And also this little fan right here, you definitely don't want wires that are going to be slapping into that fan. And leave a little bit of room for stuff to give and flex, because this thing's going to be off-roading and doing all kinds of crazy bits. So any way that you can keep the pressure off it so it's not just just cutting, wheezing, slicing. Makes your life a lot better, make your vehicle last a lot longer. And like that, it's the internal stuff is done, so now just gotta lock it down. Alright, to make this plate work on the back, I'm gonna just cut a couple little tiny holes in it and then just zip tie it for now. Maybe later I'll get some fancier screws or something. This is a good mount right here behind the headlight, so if you're in the future gonna mount something to it, an actual proper light, like a 72 volt or something, this is a good frame to keep in place for that. But I'm gonna put a couple little holes. Basically what I did here, to figure out where I want these holes, I just put the plate on, lined it up as best I could, and then got myself a little pointy thing. Any pointy thing will do, and just jab from the opposite side, and that way I can see exactly where those holes are going to be, and then I can expand them out with a drill, and then I can just zip tie the front on, and we're done to go. Done to go. Good to go. Done to go. That's weird. All right, she's all done. From the outside, it'd be hard pressed to tell that there's a lot of power in that beast. Looks like a stock-ish. Other than the plate up front, new bars. You wouldn't know? Maybe you wouldn't even notice that. I mean, honestly, who notices bars? Other than that, the only thing left to do is give it a pretty sticker. Okay, well, here's the maiden voyage of the pit bike. Exciting. All right, here's the maiden voyage of the pit bike. I don't know how fast it's going to go. I don't know what it's going to do, but we're going to find out. Let's give it a whirl. All right, here we are on our private test track. Level 1. Front feels a little wobbly. I'm kind of back on the seat here. That feels about max speed, which is a lot for a guy like me. All right, let's see what we got. Woo. It's a little wiggly up front, let me tell you. It's a little hard to hold with one hand. I definitely need a phone mount if I'm going to be doing this proper. Woo. All right, what we got? 32 miles per hour on that top speed run. Which isn't bad. Now I don't know if these other switches go faster or if it just gives it faster torque. Oh, but I can feel it. Oh my gosh. It definitely gets up there faster. Oh, we're doing 36, 35. And for a fat boy like me, this is pretty fast. This is going down. Oh, these are some big bumps here. Oh, you gotta push forward. It wants to wheelie. I don't want to wheelie. Not with one hand. I'm not ready for one hand wheelies. Oh man, they got some push. All right. So what we got so far? 36 miles per hour. That's top speed right now, which is stock. I don't know what you call that. Stock for this. Okay. All right. I put my phone in my pocket so I can be a little bit more stupid. I don't know what that's worth, but okay. Front feels a little off though. I'll be honest. I feel like my front's pointing a little bit. Maybe that's more straight. I don't know, maybe my bars are a little wackadoo. Floating forks. Let's see. Maybe I should tighten them professionally. All right, here we go. Oh, that's one problem with this design is there's no spring on the foot pegs. So if you kick them up all the way. Man, this is dumb. This is dumb fast. Yeah. There's already vultures circling, waiting for my accident. Okay. We sneak in here? Woohoo! Yoink. Alright, we are in. Woo. You see the front end just lift off the ground? That's insane. Look out, birdie. Woof. Woof. Okay. So from a dead stop, it says I got 80.5 volts right now. It was 83, I think, at the start. But here we are just from a dead stop, just hitting it. All the way leaning in. Get a little bit of wobble on your transfer on your knees. I really am a fat man, little bike. Ah, coyote poop. It kicks. I'm gonna stand on it. Yeah, my front My rear is nice and solid with that spring upgrade. In fact, it's too solid. I gotta probably go to 500 pounds on the rear. I think it's a 750 right now, but this is like sport car stiffness. But the front is just washing out a little bit, and I can feel it bottom out. So yeah, next upgrade would be forks. So mode 3 is just all out crazy. Mode 1 still crazy, but manageable. Not insane. So if you had a kid who's already tapped out his ability on this, mode 1 might be a friendly zone. Although, in all honesty, right now it's 75 volts. I can't tell. It's not kicking me enough to whiskey throttle on mode 1. Yeah, so it's, I'm going to say PW 50 levels of performance out of it. You're not going to, I don't think you're ready to enter races with it, but it's definitely comfortable and fast. But I do switch it down. Like when I'm climbing right here, I'm going to switch down to level 1. These guys on trikes. Can mess with them. Let's see. Ooh, watch out there. I need new brakes. Fast strikes on it. And I hit about the speed limit. Woo! You definitely want to keep both hands on the bars though. Alright. Let's see how it handles grass. My knees hurt from leaning forward though. It does have a little snap of the motor when you give it torque. The brakes, these are just, oh my gosh. I'm gonna switch down to 1 just for these hard curtains here. For the brakes are just wire, cable based stocks. You definitely want to upgrade to hydraulic, oil-based. I don't know. Especially if you're gonna give this a kid, because they're gonna need brakes. It's zippy though. Whoop. Rabbit trail, okay. All right. Oh, my knees. Oh, my knees, I'm so old. All right, it's working. Tires are holding air. Wish they were a little bit thicker tires though. I think I want to go, what are these? These like 13s or 10s? What do you guys say? 10s. These are 10s. I think it needs a 13 in front. 1310 seems like it would make more sense. And I think the rear needs to go out a little bit. And there is a lowering kit too. I mean, this is where it gets stupid, right? You get the toy, and then immediately you're like, okay, how many upgrades can I put on this thing? And if you got upgrades, send them my way. I'll test them out for you. But yeah, it's easy to have that creep on adding onto this. I'm gonna go. Right now, it's fast. It is not safe. It is not tall enough. I'll put my legs forward. Maybe that'll work. All right, here we go. Now we're going uphill. We switch back to level 3. We're gonna take sidewalks just to keep out of the street. You're a good person, right? Oh, so I put my legs forward. It's still hauling me up this hill, which is impressive. It's like, honestly, faster than my bike, my big boy bike. As far as torque goes, and I don't hit as many branches either because I'm way down here. Uh-oh. But now I gotta deal with the driveway in this here. Okay. Alright. Here's a little flaw I just discovered. Okay, here's your throttle. You want this to make sure that you're not going to be hitting your brakes. So if this slides at all, which mine's a little loose, it twisted, obviously from twisting, and actually bumped into brake lever, so I couldn't actually give it full brakes. And since this isn't really utilizing e-brakes, oh, what's loose? Oh, my whole headset's loose. Okay, that's a good reason to go home. Don't want to lose the whole bars off the front. Okay, so this needs to be tightened. Honestly, this is the first like big ride I've had on it. I'm glad I'm finding it, not my kid. All right. So yeah, if your brake lever gets blocked by your throttle, you're gonna have a bad day. So that's something to watch out for. I leave my stuff loose a little bit. I leave it. I get it hand tight, but I want enough that it can actually slide, because I mean, a lot of times when you take a fall, if your lever can squish out of the way, it's not going to break, which is a win. But that being said, if it runs into each other, now you're in trouble. So what can I tell you about this thing? I'm on 3 again. It's just enough to be dumb. Hey, look at my shirt. My feet are up against my bars right now, which doesn't give me much play, but actually gives me a little bit of more control, because I can keep them locked. Get a little bit of extra steering stabilization there. It's just fast enough to be dumb. Woo. Excuse me. tall tires and low to the ground. We use zigzag a lot on this design. And I'm sitting way back on the seat here. I'm definitely almost on the fender for a natural big boy. But look at this speed though. This is going. Alright, not that fast, but the front's oh my gosh, okay. I scared myself. The front's splashing out a little bit. Oof, okay. You have a feeling like the front end is just wobbling. Okay, well, the bars are one thing, but the forks feel like they're floating like a free floating brake disc, and it's not the best feeling in the world. So yeah, let's go take it home. Oh, the other nice thing is it will drop off a curb and not bottom out. Proper dirt bike. All right, well, I'm home. 78 on the battery there. It's a little excited. Let's see what the car says here. All right, maximum speed 36 miles per hour. We went about a mile and a half, and we're at 78.5 voltage. Overall, the Electro & Co kit works great. It just bolts on and is easy. It's clean. No problem for charging. Switches are dangerously fast in 3, which I love it. It was so fast, it's actually causing the bike to fall apart, which is concerning. But yeah, look at these bars. If you can see this, those are loose. So I gotta get underneath here and tighten those bolts, put some Loctite on them. That's not a good feeling. Front was a little wackadoo, but yeah. Look at this. Whew. Smoke those tires. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. If you like this kind of content, you like this pit bike thing, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Big bike's right there. There's a size comparison too, by the way, if you're wondering what 10 inches looks like compared to 18 inches. There you go. And I'll see you on the next one.